then Brother Justin, and then our sister Teresa's going to finish up this afternoon. Before we get started too, I just want to make mention that Justin then will probably tell you there's going to be pamphlets down on this table here. You can get information. Justin will go through what he has here too, and I think our Brother Justin Barnett put some stuff out here we can grab too. So as we get started, I just want to go back to the Lord in prayer and just ask for His guidance and direction and blessings on this afternoon. Lord Jesus, we thank you so much, God, for today. We thank you for the blessings that you've already given us today, God, when we were able to rise this morning. Lord, we thank you for the blessings to being able to get up, walk, see, smell, taste. Here, God, we have so many blessings that sometimes we fail to say thank you. But God, we thank you for everything. We thank you for the testimonies that these people have given to us today, God, through you. We thank you for each one. God, I ask now that this afternoon that you go with the remainder of us, Lord. Speak through us. Hide us behind your cross, God, and let your light shine through us, that, Lord, that we might help someone. God, we love you, we thank you, and we give you all the praise and the glory, for it's in your name we pray. Amen. Amen. So, for the ones that don't know me, my name is Cyndi, and my husband is the pastor at the Freedom Fellowship Church here. And I am your #1 snot box. I cry very easy. You just have to bear with me that I can not cry through all of this. I don't have any order that I want to go in. I've prayed, and it's just like I don't have any order. So I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. Steve and I have 4 sons. We have 1 grandson that's 16. We have a precious little granddaughter that's 7 months old. And God gave us this little girl, I know for sure. He gave us Logan too. He's precious in my sight too. But to make a long, just to hit some high spots. Years ago, I had a former marriage, and I had 2 children, Eric, and Dawn and Eric. And Dawn was my little girl, and I was expecting Eric, and there was an accident, and my daughter's life was taken at 19 months old. And so through all of that, my husband at that time and myself divorced, and he went his separate ways, and I went mine. And lo and behold, later, I met Steve, and he wasn't saved, I wasn't saved, but he had a heart of gold. He'll probably get some praises today that he usually doesn't get, but anyway.
Pastors need that.
So you soak it in today, babe. I tell people all the time, God will send you that right person if you'll wait.
Amen.
But you gotta wait. And I jumped ahead of God, but that's okay, that's okay. I got 2 beautiful children, and I don't regret that at all. But anyway, I was having a hard time, and I was living with my parents, and it was Easter time, and I didn't know whether to buy Eric an Easter basket or to put flowers on my little girl's grave. I didn't have the money. And I had 2 hearts, so how does a mama split a heart? Well, I had dated Steve, and I think Steve overheard, Anyway, make a long story short, he bought flowers on my little girl's grave. And I knew that day that there was something special about it. But we ended up, when we did, and we got married, and then we were expecting a child, and I miscarried, and it was a little girl. So, but anyway, we got into church. I got saved first. Steve told it, and then I drug him to the altar, basically. But anyway, he got under conviction, and the Lord saved him. Then I told him, I said, you know, if you're going to go, and then he got the call to go into ministry, and I said, if you're going to go into ministry, you need to go to school, you need to learn, you know, you need to know what you're talking about. So, like, God couldn't do that, you know. So, you know, there's a thing in the Bible that says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. He always tells us, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, and I said, and I'm his helper. But it don't work that way. It don't work that way. But anyway, so we did, and we had Matthew, our second son, and we went to Bible college, and then found out we were going to have Jonathan the day after we get there, and we sold our home, sold everything we had, our savings, everything. But God had us in the palm of his hand. Because I could just tell you how God works, but I'd be up here, like somebody said, for days. But anyway, so we come here, and after Bible college, we get turned down by a church because they didn't want a pastor's wife. They'd been married before. Yeah, everybody's talking about these little rules, you know. So anyway, that sort of devastated Steve, and it hurt me. But you know, anyway, we ended up, and we came to a church here, and we pastored the church, and we loved the church, we loved the people in it. And then it was just God's time, and it was time to go. But Steve knew in his heart it wasn't time for us to leave Kinston. So, long story short is, we lived over across the road in the trailer park, and we were almost bought a house across town. And best way I can remember, we were almost on our way to the realtor company to sign papers to buy the house, and we realized that it wasn't what God wanted us to do. He didn't want to disappoint me, and I didn't want to disappoint him, and finally I think I said, I can't do this or something. Anyway, we didn't buy the house. We sat across, and then this church, not all of it, but some of it was here. Brother Jimmy had started, he got sick. Long story short, we ended up with this fabulous, beautiful church, and the people, our congregation, this congregation joined. So we came here, and this is how Freedom Fellowship got started. So, but anyway, we have 4 boys. We have Eric, Matthew, Jonathan, and Caleb, and 2 grandchildren. And but one day, Steve asked me to go back to what I was saying that God had gave us, little Mary Claire. Was one day I was going to work, and I got down almost into Kinston. And Steve had asked me what I wanted for Christmas that year, and I told him, I said, honey, there's nothing that I really can say that I wanted. So we left it at that. So I was going to work, and I was working at a rest home at that time. And I got down to the road. It used to be a tractor place, a Ford tractor place, I think. And this voice didn't speak to me like I'm speaking to you, but this voice came in my head and told me, said, I know what you want, and you'll never have it. And before I realized it humanly, I said, what was that? And he said, a little girl that you'll never have. Well, I ugly cried all the way from there to work. So, anyway, long story short, no, I didn't have a little girl. I got 4 boys, praise God, because I'd probably have a little girl killed and in jail if I had one today. But anyway, long story short, God blessed us with a little girl, and her name's Mary Claire, and she's 7 months old. But I stand up give God praise for my boys. When all this went down with us, I had no clue where I was going. I had heard, I had seen people that were dealing with children, that was dealing with a spouse, that was dealing, you know, with family members that had addiction, but I had no clue. No clue. I was blindsided. When I first started realizing that our son Matt was doing something, he had already been in it past the years I'd even known about it. I was just dumb. I was not educated on that at all. I was just totally blindsided. And he came to me probably a couple of months ago, and he sat down on my bed and he started crying. And he told me, he said, Mama, he had done things in the past and stuff, and I don't think it had gotten to where it was a couple of months ago. I don't even know. I couldn't even say. He'll tell his story one day, and that's the story. Sometimes I think I want to hear, but sometimes I don't know if I want to hear. But anyway, he sat there and he told me that he and my grandson, Logan, was in a fire, and we were cooking a fish stew, and he told Logan the wood was wet, and he told Logan, he said, son, don't you ever do this. And he threw gas on the wood stove in Steve's little cabin where they were cooking the fish stew. And he had the cup, and when he throwed it, it hit and it backflashed. I guess that's the word for it. And when he slung it, well, the fire went with the gas. Yep. And it hit Logan. Oh. And he said all he could see was the back of Logan and the flames going up the back of Logan. Well, he didn't realize that most of the clothes today for children are fire retardant, and it doesn't, you know, it would just melt, it wouldn't, but he didn't know that. So he dropped and rolled it. Well, his clothes was not. So he got burnt. And Logan came in, and Logan, you know, I automatically threw him in the shower, and he had one little place. Well, when Matthew finally come in, his skin was dripping off his hands. And he was severely burned. So he ended up going to the burn center in Chapel Hill, where he had to stay there, and then he was on pills for pain pills and pain pills and pain pills, and then after the skin grafts, it went back to pain pills, and you know, I deal with that because, you know, I'm in the medical field, and I see patients every day that are on things like that. But he said that, you know, to see his nephew like that, he was scared that he was going to die. So I think, you know, some of the post-traumatic syndrome can happen. But again, Matthew truly lived a party life. I'm not going to sugarcoat it because he did. But when he came to us and he finally, you know, told us that he needed, well, not before that, he had come to his dad one night and told him that he wanted to get saved and he wanted to start living right. And so that was about March, April, somewhere in there, March, I think. And I think he really, really tried. I really, in my heart, think he tried. But I think heroin had more of a hold on him than what he could let go of. Then, you know, as a mama, I wanted to believe him and trust him and say things, and then all of a sudden, you know, I thought, well, where did Matt go? I don't know. And then a couple of hours he'd come back, and I thought, well, Matt, where'd you go? Oh, I met some guys down at the fishing, down at the lake, or whatever that dock is, the fishing dock or whatever. Or, you know, I went to so-and-so. I had to run out to Walmart, or I had to run out to a new sports shop. So, I'm not saying this to belittle Steve at all, but I think he could pull more over on his daddy than he could me. And I got to just seeing things and thinking of things, and you know, Steve has the pastor's heart too, but and the daddy's heart, and he just didn't, I think, put them all together. So I started listening and started paying attention. My senses went up, that mama sense. So then I'd go out and find him passed out in his truck. And I'd say, "Man, what are you doing?" "Oh, I'm just so tired, Mama, I'm so tired." "No, you're not." "Yes, I am. You always think I'm on drugs." Yeah, you are. Go in